Hello, all you weather fanatics. We are here in the weather office today, and we're coming to you for a winter weather update. So, quite a few things getting ready to go on in our near future, which is why I felt it important to come out here. A lot of things going out throughout the neighborhood of weather enthusiasts. So, want to put some things to bed and want to actually talk about some things that you maybe see people sharing through weather models and things like that, and how true it might be. So, first thing we're going to talk about is the potential for snowfall tomorrow, starting in the morning and whatnot. We're going to jump in first to the NOAA forecast from the National Weather Service. So let's dig right into that. We got some people in here. Thanks for joining, and don't forget to like and share what we got going on here today. And so we'll see. There's a lot of the white stuff showing up in the forecast throughout the week here. We see Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday, and Saturday night. A lot of important things to talk about there. I don't have a calendar in front of me, so give me 1 second here. We're going to be stuck in this pattern probably for the next couple weeks. So it's probably going to turn into a little bit of a winter wonderland out there. And one of the other things we're going to talk about, most importantly, is going to be the temperatures coming up. So we're going to have to take a deep dive into some of the forecasting tools that I have, and I'm going to share that with you today. So looking at the forecast, we can see we have a sharp dip in temperatures coming for the overnight hours and whatnot. And then looking into Saturday, we're going to see even bigger drop. Saturday night, a low of 7. So we're going to dig into that a little bit. So stay tuned as we kind of dig into a little bit of this here. Now, Wednesday, tomorrow, there's a lot of people that have talked about, hey, we could get snow, trace to 2 inches, things like that. I see more the low shifted to where it's going to be pushing that more towards our west. So we're going to dig into that a little bit as well once we dig into the weather models here. So first thing we're going to start off with, is going to be the HRRR model, which is one of my favorites for short-term weather solutions and whatnot. So as we dig into this, we see that low pressure up there in Canada. It's a strong low pressure down to 986 millibars. Category 2 hurricane type pressure. That's not what it is. But that's going to push that lake effect snow machine to really start to kick up gear. You can see a lot of those wind barbs are going to be pushing from the northwest initially. And then you can see they have more of a northern, north to south shift, which is what's going to keep most of that to the west. You can see how a lot of them are tighter over here. That's where a lot of that stronger wind is going to be. And then it's going to shift into our area a little bit, but it's going to kill some of that lake effect. Will we see some snow showers tomorrow? Most likely. Is it going to be enough to be significant and stick around? I highly doubt so. You can see, we can zoom in here a little bit. I had it out for a reason. Let me shut that music off. I forgot it was playing. I'm sorry about that. So as we get into tomorrow, if we do see something, it's mainly going to start out with some light rain showers. You can see that kind of pop into the area there. And then as the cold front drops down through, we get into those colder temperatures. As the temperatures drop tomorrow during the day, we'll be in the 20s by about 5 p.m. But you can see some of those snow showers really starting to kick up. We have a few down around here in our area, but mainly staying towards our west because these winds are starting to come out of the northeast a little bit and toward the northwest, and then they drop straight south. And that's where that snowfall is going to be persistent just down in this area right here. So if you've seen anything from the National Weather Service, which we can dig into that a little bit, we have up here, we have a winter weather warning, or a storm warning rather, I'm sorry. And then we have winter weather advisory down here. So, far away from us, but this is the main area of concern for the snow that's going to come tomorrow. So, and then we see these cold fronts that are dropping down through. That's straight off this low pressure system up here, up in the Canada area, and that's going to be what's pushing those winds down. And so we will see a little bit of wind tomorrow. Nothing I'm too worried about. I don't think we're going to put a trash can alert out or anything like that, that we're going to have to strap anything down per se. So let's dig into what next week's going to look like a little bit, because I feel it's important to share these kinds of things, because there's a lot of people out there that are going to push the hype pretty hard for this. So what we're looking at is we have the jet stream currently taking a huge dip right here just to our south, and then it's going to stay like that until we get later into the week. It's going to bring us some intermittent snow showers, really nothing too powerful until we get later in the week, or I'm sorry, early next week. Let's get up there a little bit here, and we can see a definite pattern shift where that jet stream starts to pick up north a little bit, and right there. So we're looking at the 23rd. It's 10 days out, guys. So anybody that's sharing these weather models, don't get hyped up on it. But if this does happen, which evidence does suggest, as we look down here, we see low pressure, high pressure, and then we have that low pressure down in Texas, and that's going to bring up that Gulf moisture. We have the threat of storms and things like that, but you can see that definite line right through here, and that could really go any way. Like I said, it's 10 days out. A lot could change from then. But if this does happen, you can see how significant that could turn into. And down south, that could bring us some significant snow and snow for us as well. What does that mean as far as what does our snow look like, Brad? That is a fantastic question. This is what's called the snow depth change. We can look at a lot of things, but the most important thing to look at is the snow depth change when it comes to the weather models, because we could have 3 inches fall, but only 1 inch stick, or the dew points change and we just don't get that moisture down to the ground. So this is going to give you more of a real look at what that's going to look like once we get to that time. So you can kind of see that snow potential to our west, you know, 1 inch to a couple inches. I really don't see that coming down that far if you're looking at it. That's through tomorrow. And then as we get into next week, we have a couple other opportunities for snow showers, probably about 1 inch looking into this weekend. And this is a growing conglomerate. So this isn't one big storm. This is what's piling up over time. And here's where my concern comes in as we get into the 23rd, next Friday. So we see that system starting to peak its intensity over here in Missouri, and then bam. So this is what I'm talking about. Don't get hyped up on this too far because it is 10 days out. We will talk about this probably next Wednesday. But this system is very possible. So that's why we're talking about it now. And then you can see how it grows in intensity. So this has us anywhere from 17 to 24 inches of snow. That's not a realistic storm prediction. You know, if this does actually produce, we could see anywhere from 6 to 10 maybe. So that is what we're looking at there. We run the potential to keep this pattern and have one snowstorm after another. So definitely keep in touch with us and keep in tune. We're going to keep an eye on that. Just another look here. You can kind of see over just a couple hour period. So we go from, let's go back a little bit here. So this is when it first starts. Same up here in Northeast Indiana, we have about 2 inches on the ground. And then that's 3 hours, 6 hours, 9 hours later, it's saying we're going to be up 7 and 9. Like I said, I'm not buying that. If you guys see anything like this out there floating around, just ignore it. Brush it off for right now. This isn't something to write home about yet. The moisture's there. The temperatures are there. And like I said, I don't see us getting in the realm of 18 inches of snow out of the system. So that'd be 16. I don't see it. So that's kind of what I wanted to bring to your attention. We can look at some other weather models about it as well as we get out there. But like I said, it's so far out there. We have to look at a different version of that. Let's get out there. So here comes that system. So you can see this weather model has it way farther north. Nothing is really agreeing here. It's like an upset stomach. There's a lot of variables at play. Somebody could just say, hey, this is going to be my weather model today, and that's what I'm going to use. They're going to post it. They're going to get their views or whatnot. But what we're here to talk about is what's coming tomorrow and then the temperatures. So you can see by this weather model as we get through Friday, there's nothing to really worry about. There's a lot of people that are pushing a lot of different things. National Weather Service, they did post their snow map, and mainly everything's to our west. So they have all the way down, I believe. Let's go back. So we get in here to northern Indiana. They have their snow map kind of coming down around Logansport, maybe a little bit down to Kokomo, and then back up. So that's not really going to affect us too much. Could we see a trace of snow? It's possible. But I don't foresee anything impactful happening. But as we get closer to this weekend, there is a potential for another system to come in and chat with us come Saturday. We'll know more about that come Thursday, and we'll study that a little bit deeper. And why I say study it. So if you look out here to the West Coast, this is what's going to be coming towards us on Saturday. Okay, so this system up here, it's not even on the coast yet. Our models don't have that saturated just taste of what that storm's actually going to look like when it hits landfall. So this is why I'm very cautious about doing forecasts and things like that so far out, because I take a realistic approach to what's that going to look like when it hits Washington, Oregon, and Northern California. That's going to give us our actual true forecast on which direction it's going to head. And then once that hits this area, wherever it hits in those 3 states, we start looking down here around Mexico, Texas, where that moisture is going to come from. So I hope that makes sense to a lot of people. But as far as what we're looking at tomorrow, nothing crazy. The crazy part that we're going to talk about is going to be in the temperatures. So we're going to go back to the GFS, and we will go to our temperature map. So we can see tonight we're going to stay pretty mild. And then that cold front's going to come in. Nice little Arctic chill. I'm not going to call it an Arctic blast because it's not going to get that bad. And then you see that secondary system pushing down through Canada. And that's what's going to really start to give us that chill. And then it's going to stick around. You can see negative 39 up here. But we're going to stay cold through Monday, Tuesday, and then it gets even colder next week. And we're just going to stay there. So we're kind of in that system, and you can kind of see how this polar line is pushing farther south. And that's where that line of instability is going to really kick in and give us that opportunity for that snow system, because what it's going to do is it's going to try to follow this path right here. So if that path is a little farther north, that's going to give us a little bit more snow if that system comes through. So that's what we got to keep an eye on. The big chill stays farther north. I feel bad for people in Montana, the Dakotas, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan. They're going to get that real big chill. And then we're going to kind of stay in that area. You can see we're going to get down in single digits, maybe the negatives, closer to the end of this month. And then February is going to really, really kick our butt, I think, coming into the first couple weeks of February. We're not going to go that far into the forecast, but this is where I really start looking at forecasts and what the temperatures are going to do. You can see down here, we're going to have probably an iguana advisory down in Florida where it's going to be down in the 30s come the end of the month. So if you're planning on going to Florida, watch for those falling lizards. But that is what our temperatures look like coming up in the future. So if you have any questions that I can answer on any of this, please let me know in the comments. What we're looking at is that's basically going to be our forecast for the next couple of weeks, unfortunately, is a little bit of snow here and there, and then possibly a storm coming next weekend. So we're going to keep an eye on that. We're going to be here for you when that weather arrives. Like I said, nothing to really worry about tomorrow. We're going to get some wind. We're going to get some snow showers, nothing crazy. And then we look down here Friday into Saturday night. Right now, it's too early to call. They're calling for around less than an inch of snow, mainly before 1 p.m. So we're definitely going to keep an eye on that. I see that more of a Saturday snow than a Friday snow currently. But we're going to have to really keep an eye on that and see what's coming. So a half an inch of snow can really make a big difference in people's lives when it comes to driving and whatnot. So that is all I have to say as far as our weather coming up. It's going to get cold. It's going to get snowy. It's kind of unfortunate. I've really enjoyed this weather lately. So if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I'll hang out here for a minute. Like I said, February looks to be a challenging beginning to the month. End of January is going to be a little bit challenging as far as warmth goes and snowfall, we're just kind of going to be stuck in that pattern for a while, it looks like. And I don't really see any blocks that are really going to cause that to really be stuck, but it's definitely a possibility for us to be stuck in that for a little while, at least. So one thing we can look at here, and I'll share this back up because I find it interesting, and you can't really go off of it too hard. But this is the wind chill index. We can see how that wind is going to affect us. And as we drop down into some single digits and whatnot over the next week, and then as that other cold blast comes down, you can see a huge Arctic push. Those wind chills are going to drop into the negatives pretty hard once we get closer to next week and over the weekend. So the winds and everything like that, it's just going to be absolutely brutal outside. And then after that, you see we have another system pushing in, and it's just going to continue. It's kind of like a heartbeat for February. And then, so we're almost there, guys. A couple weeks left in January. And then we've got a couple weeks left in February, and we should see this weather start to break. So, yeah, nothing crazy to write home about, but it's going to get cold for sure. Definitely going to get some snow. We'll keep you updated on that in the future. And like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. That's what I'm here for. And if you're anybody that'd like to sponsor us, let us know on that as well. That's what we're here for. We're going to keep everybody involved and informed the best we can. And we'll do another update come Thursday for the weekend weather and keep you updated as far as that goes. And then we'll also post if we see any changes for next week's storm. So as of right now, that's what I have. Tomorrow, nothing terrible. Don't get scared. Cold weather's coming. Unfortunately, we're going to get kind of socked into it. Yeah, we're going to be here with you. So, all right. Well, if you guys have any questions, throw them in the comments, and be more than happy to answer any of those as time goes on. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your evening. Hello, Melinda. Hello, Michael. And yeah, so that's what I got, guys. We'll dig more into it. Like I said, that's just where we're at right now. I was more interested in updating you for tomorrow based off what the National Weather Service has pushed out and everything like that. I was like, man, it was kind of a shotgun of information, and I wasn't comfortable with it, so I didn't know if you were. So that's what I'm here for, kind of break it all down for you. We will get back into it more Thursday, and we'll see you then. All right, you guys have a wonderful night.